Did you know that according to Cure Research for Children's Cancer, the number of childhood deaths by life-threatening medical conditions per year for kids aged 1 to 19 is of 4,446? When children are going through a life-threatening condition, it is very important to try and make this challenge a more positive one. This is when non-profit organizations come into play. I am Peter Valentino, and today I will be discussing how non-profit organizations work and my experience working with Make-A-Wish, Northern and Central Florida over the summer. For this presentation, I will be focusing on the nonprofit sector, Make-A-Wish as a foundation, their partnerships, some of their public relation tactics, as well as my experience as my case study. Nonprofits, or charities, encompass a broad area of public relations work. In the US, there are at most 2 billion of such groups. The main purpose of a nonprofit is to serve the public interest, and from the public relations perspective, nonprofits are often represented as fostering goodwill or as beacons of social responsibility. Make-A-Wish is a nonprofit, founded in the spring of 1980 with a boy named Chris. He was diagnosed with leukemia. His wish was to become a police officer, so a group of officers and his family worked together to have a special uniform delivered to the 7-year-old boy. Ever since, Make-A-Wish grants the wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions to enrich the human experience with hope, strength, and joy. They're dedicated to making every eligible child's wish come true. Over the summer, I had the chance to be an intern at Make-A-Wish Maitland, where I was part of the development program. Part of my job was to schedule social media posts, create visual content for the Wish Kids using Adobe Illustrator, as well as reaching out to previous Wish families for surveys about their Wish experience so we could continue to shape the lives of hundreds of kids. Since Make-A-Wish is a foundation, everything they're able to do comes mainly from wealthy individuals, families, organizations, or corporations. In the case of Make-A-Wish, some of the most significant donors are Walt Disney World Resort, Arnold Palmer Hospital, and Action Gator Tire. In order to advance the goals of their social service, Make-A-Wish creates events throughout the year in order to attract crowds and to increase public awareness as well as to increase donations for the wishes. Make-A-Wish has 3 major events each year: the Casino Night, which happens in November at Fields BMW, the Orlando Walk for Wishes, which happens in May at Lake Eola, and the Gala, which happens in April at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. My job was also to contact everyone who had assisted to these events in the previous years to see if they wanted to come back so we could continue to receive donations. I also sent out many thank you notes and emails alongside some of the wishes we were able to grant with their money so that they could come back. As a public relations representative of a nonprofit, I would advise Make-A-Wish to prepare more written and website materials to educate the Hispanic community in Florida specifically. I noticed that Hispanic Wish families had little to zero communication with the organization and did not respond to surveys or phone calls regarding past or even future wishes. My goal was to create more engaging content for these families for a better and mutual cooperation from the organization and the Wish families. I would advise Make-A-Wish to hire more Spanish-speaking employees who would reach out to this community, create media posts about events and goals and Wish experiences, and I would establish a better relationship with such families by calling them or writing them in Spanish. During this internship, I was the only Spanish-speaking person at the office, so I had to call, email all of these families who could not speak English. I noticed how they appreciated being talked to in their native language. I also translated wish stories and postcards from English to Spanish. I translated post-wish postcards for the children whose wishes were already granted, and we sent out surveys in Spanish to the same families. The next week, we started receiving many emails from these families thanking us for having granted their child's wish. Make-A-Wish Maitland seems to be in need of employees who can speak Spanish. I believe that by doing that, they would have a much more significant impact in their community. I think that both Hispanic families and Make-A-Wish, Central and Northern Florida, could use my strategy for better cooperation with each other. Thank you.